What's going on, guys? Hope you're doing well. It's Mick here with another video, and we are going to be discussing Fallout yet again. I have had a little break off YouTube, not too long though, but we were waiting on a PC. That's arrived, we're all set up, we're good to go, and we're going to start firing these videos out like usual. Like I said, we're going to be discussing Fallout, but more specifically the Fallout remake rumours that have been circulating around the internet for quite a while now. A lot of these rumours are starting to aim at a Shadowdrop release tomorrow. That's going to be Wednesday, so whether that's true or not, we're going to look at all the evidence and kind of make a decision for ourselves. As always, I thank everybody for the support on these videos and the channel in general. Everything makes a difference, and I do appreciate it a lot. Keeping this intro nice and short though, let's go straight into what we have, what we can find, and talk about it, and let's see if the Fallout remakes have any truth to them. Okay guys, first things first, I have discussed this on the channel before and made an extremely similar video not too long ago. The point of this video then is to kind of culminate all the evidence we have so far right before release, which is tomorrow, and of course I love to huff nice big fat lines of copium whenever I get the chance. Regardless of all the things that we've seen online and the social media posts and the rumours, when it comes down to it, if you are a true Fallout fan like myself, we want to believe, I want to believe.
What's he doing?
He's beginning to believe.
But regardless of all that, guys, let's actually look at what evidence we have. And obviously we are going to overlap on some things we discussed in my previous video regarding this situation. And that's okay, because as we get closer to release, a lot of this is going to start making sense a little bit more. And maybe it's going to get debunked a little easier because we are right there. You know, we are a day before. And obviously the copium is starting to drain out. You know, we are starting to lose that lovely tank of copium, because as we get closer, it's getting a little less likely. But we are going to look at everything and see what we can see. Okay, so first things first, and that's what we're kind of working off regarding the release tomorrow, or the suspected release tomorrow, and that is the Fallout countdown. Okay, so the Fallout countdown that was found is for the TV show's website. This is a countdown timer that's on the interactive map that fans of the show can use to kind of look at some locations, some information around the show, and it's kind of like a way for fans to interact with the show and get involved, kind of like you would when you play the game. It's something you can jump into and look at. So the timer I just showed in the background on that website, then the timer does kind of coincide with the end of season 2, the final episode. So that's information that we do know for sure already. There has been some speculation that there has been a reality show in the works regarding Fallout. So I assume that's a lot of vault dwellers in a vault, kind of like Big Brother style reality show. Not too sure why they're doing that. I can't imagine a lot of gamers are interested in reality TV, but it is what it is. If that's the case, yeah, you know, we'll just go with it. I probably won't watch it, but you know, Bethesda making money, doing well, it's all good, I don't care. What I'm trying to get at here while trying to maintain my copium levels is that this countdown has way too many possibilities to be something else other than a shadow drop. So while a shadow drop is a possibility, and that was kind of the rumor, you know, kind of the copium rumor that people were pushing out, we have stuff like the finale, a location on the map, you know, a reality TV show, Fallout, you know, Fallout Shelter 2. There's all sorts of things that this countdown could be. You know, while it could be a Shadowdrop remake, there's just way too many other possibilities to, you know, to make that probable. So while this is something I wanted to look at and something I wanted to focus on primarily at the very start of all this evidence, it is not great when it comes to the Shadowdrop's likelihood. I mean, like I said, there's too many possibilities of other things being the case here when the timer does end, and I just don't think it speaks to any possibility of this actually being the case. There is other evidence that we can look at, but when it comes to this countdown primarily, it just really isn't good when it comes to our maintaining our copium levels.
God, please, no! No! No!
Okay, then next on the list of evidence that we have pointed towards this Shadowdrop rumor, this is going to be the massive marketing that's been going on with Fallout and all the Fallout games in general. Bethesda have been pushing Fallout on every platform possible. There has been major sales on every game. Anytime I check Steam, Fallout's either on a previous sale or it's gone even cheaper, and that's for all titles. That's 4, 3, New Vegas, whatever you want. It's all been going to dirt cheap prices. Steam are basically giving away Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Bethesda are obviously marketing these games massively, and like we've talked about in the channel before, these games are going to be played a lot more. You know, the marketing of the TV show is going to bring in a lot more new players. It's going to bring in returning old players, and people are going to be picking up these titles because of the TV show. Now, with that being said, it is a little suspicious and interesting how massive the marketing is, you know, how cheap these games are going. And it's not even just on Steam. If you look at some of the key websites like G2A, you can see that they're really pushing Fallout. I mean, the last time I checked, I just clicked on Steam games as I was interested in picking something up myself. Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas were on the front page, and of course they were dirt cheap as well, so it's almost like people are trying to get rid of these titles. And if anybody was a conspiracy theorist, you know, not me, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but if anybody was, this might look like they're trying to get rid of these titles because it's the last chance to sell them, because Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas will be remastered. Now, while this is a lot of copium, I know, and a lot of this marketing is going to be attributed to the TV show. I mean, Bethesda don't make games as regular as other developers, so they are going to be looking for money elsewhere, and if they can make money on some of their old titles being rebought by new players or returning players, then they will do so and use the TV show as a marketing strategy. But if you do look at the Steam store and you look at the Key store, and I'm pretty sure even if you look on Xbox and PlayStation, these games are being reduced big time. So if you haven't played the Fallout series yet and you want to get into it, now is the best time to get it cheap. Now, without repeating myself too much, this is attributed to the TV show and its massive marketing push and its massive influx of sales. But again and again, I say, if you're a conspiracy theorist, this does look a little suspicious. So we are going to add this into our case file, so to speak, our evidence bag in terms of the cope strategy that we're pushing here for the Shadowdrop. Massive marketing, massive sales, and they're trying to get rid of these games. Now, if I was thinking on the side of the Shadowdrop, I would say that these guys are trying to sell these games as quick as possible because they know Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas originals are probably never going to see sales again if they get remade. Now, I'm sure there's people out there that bought the original Oblivion since the remake. It's definitely going to be a reduced number than what was usually buying Oblivion before the remake. While these games are just updated graphics and updated gameplay mechanics, they do replace their previous titles for the majority. You know, if people are going to have to pick between the two copies, they are going to pick the more modern one with the better graphics. You know, there is a minority out there that'll say, well, no, I prefer the old style, I prefer the original graphics, blah, 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 blah. The majority of people are always going to pick the more modern option because it runs better, it looks better, and it's just the better option of the two for the majority of players. That's going to be it for this point though. Again, massive marketing, massive pushes across the board for all Fallout titles. We are going to see this in conjunction with the TV show and its marketing strategy. But again, this could be linked to something surrounding the Shadowdrop, so we are going to keep it in there and move on. Okay, one thing that was happening that we have touched on in my previous video was Steam reviews not being allowed on New Vegas, and there was a pop-up telling players that cannot review until release. I confirmed this was happening at the time and it was a known bug. However, I do believe it was fixed rather quickly. It is fixed as of now, and I haven't heard that happen to anyone since. This is quite an interesting bug to say the least. I mean, when people are talking about Shadowdrop titles like Fallout New Vegas, and this is saying that you can't, you know, review the game until release, it does make people think that it's, you know, talking about the remake itself. Well, there's no confirmation of that or any evidence to suggest that. It is interesting, that's why I included it. This was something that was happening for sure. It was a bug, but was it related to a Fallout New Vegas remake that is kind of backloaded or sitting on Steam and it was conflicting with the current title? Who knows? But at the end of the day, this is something that was happening for sure. And while it may just be an everyday bug, you know, with the influx of players that have started playing New Vegas, but there's always that chance that this is true. Now, while this bug is probably not related to these Shadowdrop rumors, I thought I'd throw it in for funsies and, you know, kind of top up the old copium tank. Next on the list then, when you were looking at Fallout on Steam, it was saying 12 games but only 10 titles were showing when you actually expanded the search. This was a very popular one that was doing the rounds on X and people were freaking out over this. I personally checked it myself at the time this was happening. Now, this might have been a couple of weeks or a few weeks ago, but when I did check it myself, for sure it said on Steam 12 games, and when I opened it up I could only count 10 full titles, you know, not including any bundles or DLC. If I was looking at straight titles like Fallout 3 or Fallout 4 VR or Game of the Year edition, I counted 10. Now, while some people replied to this, you know, X comment or X post and showing that they could find 12 on their search if they were using the browser or some other way of searching Steam, I don't know what it was doing or what it was showing for different people, but when I personally tested it at the time, I could only find 10 titles. Now, what more than likely happened here was that Fallout 2 and probably another title was hidden below the list of DLCs that I didn't scroll down far enough and that a lot of other people didn't either. If you go and check it now, there is 12 titles when it comes to Fallout when you expand that search. I did check it for myself. You know, I thought it was 11, but Fallout 2 was hidden down there, so I'm assuming that's what happened the first time around. While this is a nice little rumour and it does get the copium nice and high, again, this is debunked quite well, and I don't think there's any truth or or any, you know, reliability, so to speak. Next thing I want to look at is something a little bit more, you know, reliable and trustworthy, something a bit more concrete than what we've been talking about previously, and that's going to be some of the Steam database entries. We do have some updates for both Fallout 3 and New Vegas, along with some game trailers being removed from Fallout 3, so let's look straight into this and see what we can find. So as you can see on the Steam database here, there is a lot of trailers that were pulled from the Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition, and that is 6 days ago. The reason this is so important then is because it's so recent and close to the rumoured release of these Shadowdrops, and these trailers are being pulled, which is quite odd, and the timing is suspicious. Another thing to note about these trailers being removed, this is something we've seen prior to the release of the Oblivion remaster. That kind of shows there's a pattern here. Before these remakes are dropped, they are pulling these old trailers, and it was noted on the Steam database as well. While these trailers are still available on the Steam store page itself, this may just be a login quirk for SteamDB. It is interesting to say the least. I mean, this is something that really, you know, perked my interest when it came to all these rumors. You know, like a lot of these rumors were debunked. They were kind of okay, maybe this, maybe that. This one was really suspicious because of the timing and also that link to the Oblivion pattern of removing the trailers that we've seen before. Now, while these trailers are still available on the Steam store page itself, and this may just be, like I said, a quirk from SteamDB, it is really interesting, and I thought I would add it into the whole evidence bag that we've created here. You know, when it comes to all the different pieces of evidence and rumors, this one is definitely on the more interesting side of things. It does look like this might be a possibility now. I mean, when we started doing these rumors and leaks and Shadowdrop talks and stuff like that, they did sound a bit more interesting at the time and a bit more reliable at the time. But as time went on, stuff was debunked and things died down, and we're getting closer to this timer ending, it does seem a little bit less likely than it was, you know, early on. And that's what happens with copium and rumors. They start off exciting, you start off putting bits together, a little bit of confirmation bias, and then eventually it all falls apart over time. But regardless of all that, this one is very interesting, and that's why I threw it in here. On the topic of SteamDB then, there was some information regarding Fallout New Vegas on there as well. We did see a more recent update with that game. Now obviously we might expect to see updates on this game due to the higher influx of players that have come from the TV show and whatnot, but anyways, we'll have a look at that and see what it means. So as you can see, same kind of thing, same standard here. We got the SteamDB history for updates. More recently we have some change lists and added release date. This is all like platform support stuff, I think, in SteamDB. There's no like official gameplay changes or bug fixes or anything like that on Steam's actual update. This is all like platform support, small time stuff. Now while it is interesting that this is quite recent, you know, coming up to this this countdown end with all the rumors and stuff surrounding it, it probably isn't much. As you can see, Fallout New Vegas kind of has relatively regular SteamDB updates, and there's all sorts of different things that change sometimes with the game, like platforms, separate releases, stuff like that. You will see these minor adjustments on SteamDB and probably won't see anything related to it on the Steam page itself. Again, probably not a lot going on here. This isn't as interesting as the trailers being pulled on Fallout 3, you know, but with the timing and stuff, it's good to throw it in there for cope purposes, because why not? Another thing that Bethesda's been doing a lot recently is marketing on like social media posts, Instagram, YouTube, stuff like that. They've been making videos and reels. I think Shroud was involved in one of them. It was a really weird watch. I don't know what was going on there, but there has been a lot of videos and stuff made regarding Fallout and around the Fallout universe. Again, something we typically see with the TV show's success and that, and obviously this video in particular was surrounding the actor himself from the TV show.
Oh, dude, why are you so messy?
Now I know we're on the discussion of these remakes and Shadowdrops, but let's look at something here in particular regarding these marketing and videos that Bethesda have been putting out. Fallout is big, Fallout is popular, and everybody's talking about it. The games are booming, the TV show's booming, there's talk of reality shows. Everything surrounding Fallout is absolutely smashing every chart possible on every metric possible. Now the reason I bring that up is because of everything we've looked at in this video and my previous video, all the evidence combined. Are we going to get a Shadowdrop tomorrow at the end of this countdown? Probably not. Now, while I say probably not, here's two things to consider. Todd Howard for sure will Shadowdrop another title. He said Oblivion was a test. He likes the Shadowdrop. He likes the whole idea of it. It is his thing, and we're going to see it happen. Do I think we're going to see it happen with a Fallout title? For sure. I just don't think it's going to be tomorrow. I think we're going to have to wait another little while for that. Maybe a year at the end of the year. Now, what I was talking about with the TV show booming and things like that, that is going to speed up the process with the popularity, with the money that Bethesda can make, with the money that, you know, every team that's involved with these titles and what's involved with the TV show, all the money on the table is going to be grabbed by these guys, and they're going to try and do it as quick as possible. They really need to capitalize on the hype. But like I said, I do think we're going to see a Shadowdrop, and I do think we're going to see it relatively soon. You know, we did talk about Coppola and a lot of hopium and things like that. I personally would love to be able to play a Fallout remake tomorrow. It would absolutely make the day. But that Oblivion trailer, the feeling of watching the trailer and then being able to jump into a remastered game of a title you used to absolutely love, that's a feeling I won't forget, and I can't wait to experience that again, and I hope I do with Fallout. That's going to be it for the video, guys. I'm not going to drag it out too long by yapping too much. That's all the evidence we have so far surrounding these leaks and rumours about a Shadowdrop title tomorrow. With the countdown ending and the stuff we've talked about, it's probably not going to happen, unfortunately. I would love it to happen. I mean, if we're going to look at percentage-wise, I say it's probably a 5 or 10% chance this happens, and that's being quite generous, to be honest with you. Other than that, though, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, I thank you so much as always. New PC, so if anything's a little different, we are going to tweak it here on out, get everything a little bit better down the line. But again, other than that, I'm going to bounce, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.